All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs. Welcome to Sharing More Than the Sheets, a podcast to help you and your partner make better financial and lifestyle decisions so that you can both focus on the things that you love. I'm your host, Michael Khouri, financial planner, green thumb, husband, and just dad. This segment is called Michael's Magic Moment. It's my opportunity to play a little snippet from one of our previous episodes, which resonated with our listeners, that I received feedback from, or I felt really had an impact on some people's lives. Hope you enjoy it. I've come across many situations where somebody is wanting to invest or wanting to do something and they just haven't because they don't know where to begin. They don't know if it's the right thing to do. Fear kicks in, concern kicks in, risk can scare people. And just like anything, if you don't understand something enough, it can be very, very scary, and it's something that you can put off. This episode that we go back to is one where I talk about the risk of doing nothing. And I see this situation so many times where somebody has an opportunity to do something. They have the need, they have the goal, they have the circumstances that allows them to do it, but they don't do it. And I see it too many times. Sometimes I'll tell the person that there's been a cost now of them doing nothing for the last year or 2 or 5 or 10 years. But usually they're the ones that actually tell me, saying, wow, if I did this 5 years ago, or if I did this 12 months ago, or if I did this 3 years ago, or if I did this 10 years ago. So for me, I'm so passionate about this because me personally, I'm the type of person that does like to think about something a lot before doing it. And I'd say I'm not as slow as others. Like I am a little bit good. I am pretty good at, if I think about something and logically it makes sense, I just do it. I pull the trigger. But I do like to think about things a lot. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that not everyone can just jump and make quick decisions. But at the same time, there's a serious cost of doing nothing, and we talk about it in this episode. I've met people that have had their money, tens, if not sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally just sitting in an account for a really long time, doing nothing, where that money, even if it was in something simple like a term deposit, they probably would have made more. And that person probably wanted to invest a long time ago, but just didn't know where to start. And I regularly talk to clients where they want to buy something, but they never thought they could as well. So whether it's an investment property or whether it's setting up like a share portfolio, there are so many misconceptions as well when it comes to certain things like, oh, can't afford it. Oh, it's too risky. Oh, it's too hard to do. Oh, I need too much money to do that. I don't have enough. Oh, I should be earning more money. Oh, that's just really for rich people. It's not for me. So when we talk about these things and when we educate you on them as an advisor, we're able to help you understand what you can and can't do. So it's really important to understand that without risk, there's no reward. That we talk about this all the time, that the higher the risk, the higher the reward. So it is important to take risk. And that's where action comes in. The second part about it as well is whether you like it or not, you can't really avoid risk. So some people sometimes get really scared to invest money and they just do nothing because they're too scared to lose money. And there's always a chance of loss, of course, no matter what you do. But there's ways of managing that risk through discussions, through the way you invest, through the type of people that you talk to, through the education that you have, and also even through the timing and the way that you invest your money. Because what you'll actually find is when you start investing or when you start doing something with your money, it just creates this excitement, this multiple effect. Because, if you purchase a property, you might suddenly want to purchase a second property, or the second you set up a share portfolio and you see it performing, or you see what it's doing, or you suddenly start understanding it even more, you think, wow, okay, I want to set up another share portfolio, or now I want to diversify my investments. I want to have a different type of investment. So this risk, taking on risk, and this action leads to education. And this education normally leads to doing things that you probably would not have normally done. Because another thing that I always harp on about when I talk to anyone about money is minimizing the regrets that you'll have in life. You know, if you talk to someone that doesn't have many years to live, I can tell you right now, they're not going to regret the mistakes they made. They're probably going to regret the things that they didn't really try. You know, they're not going to regret that time. Oh yeah, you know, looking back now, really wish I didn't do that one particular thing. They're going to look at the risks they took, which created reward. Those that, you know, created some sort of experience, or in this case, you know, if we're talking money, invested money, you know, and this goes back to the higher the risk, the higher the return. So not just money, but life in general. But going back to regrets, the idea is to look back and not have any regrets. To look back 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, and not regret doing nothing, not regret just sitting there. There's, you know, if you talk to anyone that talks about any type of investment, whether it's shares, crypto, property, you know, most people will say, I wish I got into it 20 years ago. So it's again, like, is this 20 years ago now? If we're looking forward 20 years, are we getting 20 years? Are we going to look back to this day and think, I wish I did this, this, and this? Research has also shown that risk takers may actually be happier. So there was a study in Germany where they looked at people's lives, then looked at those that take on risks and those that don't really take on risk. And they actually found that those that take risk are actually normally happier. And now, I'm not saying go risk all your money and you're going to be happy. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is you'll find as well that those that take risk, or those that actually do something compared to those that don't, are more likely to have positive outcomes, or outcomes that aren't normal, compared to someone that just lives a very standard life that does exactly the same thing. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm sure there's 100 other factors that need to be taken into account. But my point is that research shows that those that take risk are more likely to have a reward compared to those that don't. And that leads to so many other things. So we're not just talking about money. We're talking about life in general. And going back to what I said, the risk of doing nothing is sometimes a lot bigger than the risk of doing nothing at all. Thanks for joining us on Sharing More Than the Sheets. Please make sure you subscribe to be updated with future episode releases, and feel free to share this episode with any friends or family that you think it might benefit. Please visit us at sharingmorethanthesheets.com.au to submit questions or requests for future podcast topics. These podcasts have been brought to you by Better Financial Planning Australia. To book a 15-minute phone chat, visit betterfinancialplanning.com.au.